Let's go to the book of Job chapter 1 verse 13. Job chapter 1 verse 13. Understand that the Most High is the judge, the power, the all in all. So whatever we do, we got to acknowledge that. It's Job chapter 1 verse 13.
The book of Job chapter 1 verse 13. And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And there came a messenger unto Job and said, the oxen were plowing, and the asses feeding beside them. And the Sabians fell upon them, and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, the fire of Yahweh is fallen from heaven.
Read that again.
While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, the fire of Yahweh is fallen from heaven.
Showing you where it's coming from the Most High. Yes, the Most High gave Satan power to do something to Job, to afflict Job, but guess what? It's showing you where it's coming from. Satan didn't say, make the fire come down from heaven. Only the Most High could do that. You understand? So the fire of Yahweh came down from heaven. Read on.
And hath burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee.
Right. So Job is what? Receiving a lot of bad news, traumatic news. News that might make you want to just go crazy, right?
Yeah.
Might lose your faith, right? No, brother. You're supposed to say no to that one. You're supposed to say no to that one, right? But showing you how traumatic it is, because now he's going to lose everything, right? It's going to get a little bit worse. Go ahead.
While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, the Chaldeans made out 3 bands, and fell upon the camels, and have carried them away, yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword.
And why is that significant? Because that's how we lived back then, by our animals. We were shepherds, remember that. Okay, read on.
And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead.
Now suppose this was you and this was your children. How would you feel? Think about that. We read this all the time, but we read it in the way of this is Job's children. What if this was your children? Because you got to personalize it to see how Job felt. Lost all his wealth, his property, his animals, right? Now, he's seen it come from the Most High. He saw the fire come down from the Most High. So when you see fire come down from the Most High, what do you know? This is from the Most High. Okay? When you hear lightning and thunder, you say, okay, that's not nobody else but the Most High. So he knows that's from the Most High. Him being so devoted to the Most High, how did he feel? How did he feel? Because everything he says after this is going to show you how he felt. He's like, why? Why me? Why would you do this to me? Why would you do this to me? What have I done? Right? Now, in your life, you're going to ask that question. When things happen to you, you're going to ask, well, how come this is happening? What's going on? Right? Sometimes it catches you like that. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes you know it's going to happen, but it does still happen even after you do what? Pray. You pray. Sometimes you fast, right? And it still comes place, right? So then it might ask you, like Job asks in the scriptures many times, why? What did I do? But he was looking at himself as being what?
Circumspect.
Right. Because he was counting, say, I feed the poor, I do this, I give away my wealth, right? So in other words, you're going to look at yourself and say, well, I've been keeping the laws. I've been doing what's right. So why is this happening to me? Read on.
And they are dead, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Then Job arose and rent his mantle.
And what did he do? What he said, rent his mantle, what does that mean? Ripped off his mitri. His mitri. A mantle is your mitri. Your head tie. He ripped it off. He ripped off the mitri off his head. And what else did he do?
And rent his mantle and shaved his head.
Wait, read that again, brother. What verse is that?
20.
Read that again.
Then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head.
Why would we shave our heads in the past?
For death.
Mourning, brother. You're going to read about how brothers threw dirt in their hair.
Right.
You're going to read about how brothers put on sackcloth. But another way to do it was to shave your head because you're in complete mourning. Okay? Because nobody, wait now, brother. I know I'm a little low. That brother's a little low. You low, but we ain't really do this back in the day. You know what I'm saying? We had hair on our head. So when you shaved off your hair, it was a sign of serious mourning. So that's where Job was. What else did he do, brother?
And fell down upon the ground.
Fell down upon the ground. King David did that. When his baby was about, the Most High threatened him, I'm about to kill your child. Fell down on the ground. What else did he do? He threw dirt on himself. You understand? What else happened?
And worshipped and said, naked.
Wait a second. He worshipped. Don't skip over that part. Read that again, brother.
I'm going to start from the top. Then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshipped.
Worshipped, brother. That's what we're supposed to do. Times of trouble, worship. Times of hardship, worship. In terms of uncertainty, worship. You might be feeling a way in your body that you said, I feel weird, I feel strange, I don't know what's going on. Worship. Get your answers from the Most High. Get yourself right, spiritually, physically, emotionally, on all levels. Now, Job saw all of this happening. He didn't go crazy. He didn't curse the Most High. You understand? He didn't say, man, what the hell? I've been good all along. What's good? What's this about? What's this about? I didn't do nothing. He worshipped. I'm going to tell you like this, as a man being in the body and in the flesh is not easy. Because I'm thinking about my children that just died. I'm thinking about my property I lost. I'm thinking about, dang, I ain't got nowhere to live. I'm thinking about a few minutes ago, a few hours ago when I was good. Right?
Right.
Now, it's going to take a lot for me to remove all of that from my mind and worship. Okay? But what do? It should become a knee-jerk reaction for you right now when you're by yourself and pray, right?
Right.
Or when you're public, you pray in your mind, right? That's what Job did. That's what we're supposed to do. Okay, that's what we're supposed to do. Read.
And said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. Now
I want to read that whole thing again. Job arose, rent his mantle, shaved his head, and fell down upon the ground and worshipped. And in continuance to that, what did he do? And said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. In other words, these are not complaining words. In other words, he's saying all that I had, I wasn't born with it.
It's vanity.
It's vanity. Even the children. But were you born with children? So you see the reality of it, right? Everything that you have, the Most High gives to you during the course of your life. Everything. And when you think about what I'm saying to you, it means the clothing on your back, the knowledge that you have, everything that you have now, you didn't come into the world with, but the Most High provided along the way. Okay? So Job is saying, no matter what I lost, I wasn't born with it anyway. Okay? But he's saying this after being told, oh, your cattle is gone, your house is destroyed, and even more importantly and more preciously, your children are dead. Okay? Read on.
The Most High gave, and the Most High have taken away.
And that's what life is all about. That's the summary of life right there. Read that precept again, my brother.
The Most High gave,
and the Most High does give. During the course of your life, He gives you everything. When you're born, He gives you a mother. She nourishes you with her body. Then when you're weaned off of that milk, He then gives you food. And when you're able, He gives you what? Food that you wouldn't be able to digest as a baby. Now you're eating meat. Now you're growing up. I saw these two parents yesterday, his mother and father, and they're holding the baby, one on the left, one on the right. And you can tell the little dude is just learning how to walk. It's the cutest little sight. Because he's stumbling and going. He's determined because he's trying to go faster than them. But they're holding his hand. Holding his hand up, right? That's the stages of life. And the Most High gives you that. Even something as simple as the ability to walk. And we take it for granted, but can everybody walk? Are all people born being able to walk?
No.
Yeah. Some people are bound to a wheelchair, right? So those that can walk, they're blessed. Okay? Some people, they go through life, but they never complete their life. They're like children in adult bodies, right?
Right.
So even your sensibility, even your knowledge, even your ability to process knowledge is a blessing from the Most High. All things are a blessing from the Most High. Read on.
Blessed be the name of the Most High.
That's what you're supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do. Bless the Most High in time of trouble. Bless the Most High when we're down, when we have doubt. When you have doubt, replace it with blessing. Because your doubt is only a window for wisdom from the Most High. Believe it or not. When you divorce that doubt, and you look at what the Most High has done for you, has given you, divorce that doubt, man. Then he's going to secure you with knowledge. But you gotta get rid of that. When I say divorce, I'm using that in a term of a very dramatic thing. In other words, you gotta push it off of you. You gotta get that doubt off of you, man. That's a spirit. Now, you have the Most High, who is a spirit, and then you have the spirits that the Most High made. Who do you want to worship? The Most High. But now, when he sends you these spirits, what is he doing? He controls that spirit. The spirit doesn't control him. He never has doubt. But when he sends you the spirit of doubt, what is he doing? Testing you, man. So here's a spirit for me. Let me see how worthy you are, how devoted you are. You understand? So it's just a spirit from the Most High. Spirit of doubt, spirit of anger, spirit of jealousy, envy. All of these spirits are what? Meant to test you. Not everybody passes that test. I'm telling you now. And during the week, you and I will go through various tests. Some of them we will fail. But what did Job do when he saw all that was going on around him? He worshipped. He blessed the name of the Most High. So when you fail, fall down, or not complete, do the same thing. That's how you make yourself complete. You understand? Because guess what? Sometimes you're supposed to fail. Understand that. Sometimes you're supposed to fail to put you in a predicament and state where you feel low, like you can't get up. Now the Most High's going to watch. Let me see if you're going to get up. What he going to do? You can stay down there and pray, but get that ass up, man. Get up. You understand what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to do. Don't stay down there and wallow in the mire and all that.
Right.
Get up. Okay? So the last precept says what?
In all this, blessed be the name of the Most High. In all this, Job sinned not.
Job sinned not. He didn't curse the name of the Most High. He didn't. He didn't go off. He didn't do none of those things. You and I have gone off in the past. You and I will probably go off again in the future. You and I will make many mistakes. But this is the recipe of what we're supposed to do. This is the recipe right here, every time. Worship, praise the Most High. Because what are you doing? You're removing all the thoughts that are put before you to take you away from the Most High. Now, something as traumatic as children, though, brother, how could you forget that? How could Job say, you know what? All right, my children are dead. Everything, my farm, everything, animals are dead. But I'm just going to concentrate on the Most High, and that's the key thing. How do you concentrate on the Most High when you done lost your children? Think about that. Did he love his children? Yes, he did, because he prayed for them. Remember that. It's not like he's like, them some niggas anyway. Nah, he didn't say that. Right? He loved his children, man. So it takes heavy self-control, mind control, to put yourself in a state of mind where you are only left with wisdom to say what Job said. Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. That's not easy to say. You know, you might have your baby, my babies, they go. Right? Think about it. These are your children. So for you to get to that state, and I'm going to tell you straight up and down, not to fool ourselves, it's not going to be automatic. It might take you a minute. Okay, so when you're in your minute and your moment of despair and tragedy and you're down and all that, don't be mad at yourself, but don't stay there. Get up and realize what Job said is reality. Everything about us, everything that we have came from the Most High and can be taken by the Most High. Now the Most High is not going to come down and say, give me that shirt. But he might send a man and say, give me that chain. Right? So when you see these things happening, understand where it's coming from and how you're supposed to react. Not easy. Don't let nobody tell you that this is easy. Don't let nobody tell you that, this is, go ahead, Ben.
That's why they said the true test of life for a man is when he's down at his lowest state.
Definitely.
That's the way you test a man. Not when he's up doing good, getting riches.
Right,
when he's down and out to the lowest, that's the true test to see what a man is doing.
That's right. That's right. When you're down and out, whether you lost a job, family member, children, like we just saw with Job, or whatever your situation, that's when the Most High will test you, because you can't think about anything else you can't think about anything else other than what is happening. Okay? Some have, in the midst of their problems, walked away from this word because they couldn't stop thinking about what is happening and not think about the word. See? Mm-hmm. You got to go back. Everything that you learned and you taught, you now have to utilize yourself. Scriptures, verses, whether you are reading or you have them in your mind, you have to utilize them for yourself. It's easy to read, memorize, and even teach, but then to apply, that's something else. Especially like the brother just said, when you're down and out, to apply is like, it's hard because you're going to be emotional. You might be in a state of crying, tears, weak, or just you lost your mind. Okay? All right, so we have to come to the level and state of being like Job. And when you're reading Job and the history of Job and what he said and what the brother said to him, you see that he wasn't trying to be no Superman. He questioned the Most High. He questioned everything that happened. And he asked that simple question, why? Why me? What did I do? But again, what was happening to Job? He was being tested. And ain't this the biggest test of life? It is. But with the test comes what? Promotion. Okay? As long as you do the right thing. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiasticus in the Bible. Life is about a test. And we have to learn to accept that. And after you have to learn to acknowledge it. You have to know when you're being tested. That's the most important thing. Because if you don't know, it's going to go on for a minute. All right? If you have some particular behavior which is not becoming of the Most High, you might be in the truth, but when it comes to your situation, you haven't brought it to the forefront of this is a part of my test. You might just be separating the two when that's how you're messing up. And that's how it's being prolonged. Why it's being prolonged. You know what I'm saying? You got to bring it all in one, man. What did Peter say? When he talked about the fiery trials, right? Strange trials. Strange things happening to you, thoughts, so forth and so on, right? All right. That also includes behavior. All right? Now, Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 1.
Reading out of the book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Most High, prepare thy soul for temptation.
And that's a big thing, brothers. That's a big thing. You know why? Because when you read this verse, you're going to think about temptations that you can overcome automatically. You might think about things that other people went through. You're not going to think about your situation and plight. You're going to kind of put that to the side. But he's saying to you, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Talking to you. Talking to me, talking to all of us. All right? So, coming to serve the Lord is what? Acknowledging the Most High. Doing the will of the Most High. That's His law, right? If you're doing that, and that should be everybody up in here, prepare yourself for temptation. Okay? And your temptation is going to be what? Personal. He's not going to give you what He gave that brother, because He already prepared that brother to do what he got to do. And the same thing for you. Verse 2.
Set thy heart aright.
Get your mind right, like Job did. Read.
And constantly endure.
Constantly endure. Job what? Praised the Most High. He worshiped the Most High during his trials. That's what that means. Set your mind right. Get your mind right. Get your heart right. Constantly endure. Go through these things. And you might be living in a situation, in a predicament that every day you're going through this thing. But you need to acknowledge what that thing is. You understand? Whether it's trouble in the home with siblings, husband, wife, mother, father, children, that's a part of your trial. And that type of trial is a trial that goes on for a long time. And what you're going to be doing in the process of that time, you're going to be praying, oh Lord, please help change this, do this, help me. Stop this from happening, right? So as you pray now, and you get up, finish praying, here's that knock on the door, it's happening again. Right? It's happening again. Somebody's disrespecting you, somebody's calling you out your name, somebody's challenging you, right? Why? Is it that the Most High didn't hear your prayer? Is that what that is? No, but he said to you, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Because now your reaction might be, well, damn, I done prayed about this thing. Look, see my dog. Just finish praying. You might open that door and blast them, right? You want to blast them, right? But verse 2 says what? Set thy heart right, man. You forgot about that? Why you blasting them? Set thy heart right, huh? Then it goes on to say, and constantly endure, not just a little bit of something, constantly. He didn't say, well, I'm gonna give me 5 minutes, Moses. Let me just blast this one and I'll be back. He didn't say that, right? Constantly endure. Constantly enduring makes you feel sometimes weak. I'm telling you, inferior. Because you're saying, man, she calling me all kind of names. I can't even respond. You know what I'm saying? I can't even come back. You know what I'm saying? I can't do none of that. None. Right? So you might feel like you're the lesser part. You're the weaker one, but in reality, you're the stronger one. Because what you're enduring, meaning what? You're doing the will of the Most High during that whole time. You understand? And that's very important because you're proving to the Most High, like Job did, that you can endure and that you are here to serve Him. All right, read on.
And make not haste in a time of trouble.
And you know we do that. You know we do that. We get all nervous and we all over the place, and okay, we go tit for tat, right? That's making haste right there. You call me, it was such and such. Well, I got something for you, right? Right? That's what we do, right? But the Most High said, don't do it. Let me think about it. They talking and you thinking, okay, I got you, right? They talk, you think, and it's finished. As soon as they finish talking, boom. Or even before, hold on now. You don't went too far, right? But the Most High is telling us to constantly endure, make our heart right, and not make haste in time of trouble. Because where did the trouble come from with Job? The Most High. Yeah. He said he saw fire come down from heaven. Who said that? The Most High. Now, we could turn around and say, well, Satan did that. Okay, and so what? And so what? Who gave Satan permission? So there you go. Think about that for a minute. So when that person comes to you, and I'm using that term person because that's usually what it is. We don't battle against stones and rocks and trees, brothers. It's people that come to us, right? And they come to us with all kind of nonsense. You know, an argument from 20 years ago. Remember, I stubbed my toe, you ain't helped me. Right? He coming from 20 years ago. But they're in that moment because that spirit brought it back to them and they're living it. Now they want you to live it. And what do they want you to do? Not to constantly endure, not make your heart right. They want you to make haste. They want you to make haste in time of trouble. You understand? In other words, they want you to go against what the Most High said for you to do. We've all been there. We're going to be there again. But now we're hearing the lesson and what the Most High wants us to do. And I'm telling you like this, you're going to mess up. You're going to go tit for tat. You're going to, even if you don't say nothing, you're going to think things. Them evil thoughts I can see in your eye. I ain't saying nothing, but you don't want to know what I'm thinking. Right? You understand what I'm saying, right? We've been there before, we're going to be there again, but the idea is to stop it from coming from here first. So that tongue is something terrible, right? But then the mind is something else. So now, how do you, in the midst of this drama, or whatever you go through, stop those thoughts? Because Job did it, didn't he? He worshipped, right? Lightning coming from heaven, children dying, cattle done. And what did he do? He worshipped. So he stopped those thoughts. He stopped those thoughts, brother. You just read it. And he worshipped, and he said something very wise. He used wisdom. He said, man, all this stuff that I got, I wasn't born with it. That's simple wisdom, right? Right. In an emotional state, it's not easy to have that kind of mind control. You understand? It's not that easy to control your emotions when you're emotional, right? You're emotional. But the Most High wants you to be that type of soldier. Understand? He wants you to be that kind of person that not only do you have control over yourself, people see it. It's reflected in you. To the point where you say, what's up with this guy? He's different. That's what he wants. Okay? Because now you're an example of someone coming to serve the Most High. People can see it now. Okay? Read on.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 2, verse 3. Cleave unto him.
When you're in trouble, cleave unto him. Read on.
And depart not away.
Don't depart away, not in behavior, not in thoughts, not in action, nothing. Okay, cleave unto him. If there's a certain psalm that you read that calms you and gives you control, meditate on that. If you got to say the Our Father prayer, say it. You understand? That's how you remove those thoughts. And it's not easy. I'm always going to say it's not easy because it's not easy. Don't let nobody fool you. It's not easy. Read.
That thou mayest be increased at thy last end.
In your trials, when you go through them and you endure, you get promotion. Read that last precept.
That thou mayest be increased at thy last end.
And it's going to take time. It's going to take effort. It's going to take repetition. Yes, it's going to take repetition. Something we don't like. Because not only are you repeating your behavior, you're actually reacting to what's going on again. This again, right? This again. All right, so that's what that means. Read on.
Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully.
Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully. That's like somebody slapping you and you smile. You gonna smile when somebody slap you? Suppose you do something for somebody out of the kindness of your heart, and they just disrespect you. Say, what the hell is this? Right? How do you feel? Cheerful? You feel cheerful? Anybody laughing while that happened? Are you just grinning from ear to ear? No, you looking at the person, what the hell, man? Right? Read that again, brother.
Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate.
And be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. That is something that we will constantly go through. Because you will be changed to a lower estate on many levels. Yes, the physical level, meaning what? You might lose a job, you might lose a wife, you might lose your girl, whatever, right? But there's an emotional state also. And then there's a spiritual state, okay? Your soul is a receptor. Your soul is where the feelings really multiply. So you might be changed to a lower estate on many levels. Read that again.
Be patient when thou art changed to a low estate.
So the Most High is instructing us to be patient when these things happen. Be patient. Not only you have to be patient with people around you, you must be patient with yourself. Be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. You understand me? When you're emotionally low, what is that? That's a low estate. When you're angry, that's a low estate because that's not your proper state. You understand? That's not your proper state. Or your state of being or your mind where you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to be there. Right? So the Most High said, be patient. When you're angry, the most important thing you can do is not open your mouth until you have control over your tongue. Because the minute you open your mouth, that tongue is just going. Right? So you're going to keep that tongue in place by keeping that mouth closed. Right? Think about what you're going to say. Think about it. Is it going to help or make things worse? Think about it. It's not easy, right? The tongue, it's amazing. I mean, you might be thinking something up here, all good thoughts. Okay, you call me a low down nigga, but I'm gonna, what? In your mind, I'm gonna say thank you, but that mouth opens and says something else, right? Right? Something else comes out. So you got to keep that tongue behind bars. Keep that tongue behind bars until you are really ready to control it. You understand what I'm saying? Keep that tongue behind bars, trust me. Because many have not kept the tongue behind bars and ended up behind bars. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to really think about that. Read on.
Verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
Right. And when gold is tried in the fire, it comes out beautiful. Right? It's fashioned beautifully. But it also says an acceptable man in the furnace of adversity. That's who we are. Acceptable men, women. We're being tried in the furnace of affliction. Adversity. Meaning, what's adversity? Everything that's against you. Okay? Meaning what? Your relationships. How you feel within your mind. Your own body. You understand? Everything around you will become adverse to you or against you. People on your job. Now, it's possible that before you came into the Word, everybody was cool with you, right? Be good. But now you're in the Word and you're actually being dipped in the furnace of affliction. everything changes. Everything changes, right? Which means that now you have to change and do everything that we just read. Read on.
Believe in him, and he will help thee.
Yeah, that's so important, because sometimes you're out on that ledge, you're at your last wit, okay? You have to drum up that thought of the Most High and believe in him, cleave unto him. And what happens? He will help you. He will help you. He will help you in that last moment, that final moment where you feel like you're at your worst. Okay, but you have to believe in him. And in believing in him, you call him. Read.
Order thy way aright.
That's not easy, but that's what needs to be done. Control yourself. That's what that means. Order your way aright. Control yourself, meaning what? Control your thoughts and then your actions, right? Make a mental list of what's wrong and what needs to be done. Those two things. That's very important. Believe in him and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and what?
And trust in him.
And trust in him. Trust in him. A lot of times when you're in an emotional state, you're only trusting what you see, everything around you. But believe it or not, everything that you cannot see is what's affecting you. You understand? People might even throw words at you, but them words now become real. That's what's affecting you. The person, you've known this person all your life. Or you know this person. So what's different now? The spiritual words that they're throwing at you, that's affecting you, like darts, like bombs, just throwing at you. You ain't no good. You all this, you know. Why do people do that? Because, first of all, they have a lot of envy within them. And they have a lot of jealousy. They have a lot of incompleteness in them. So when they're like that, now they want you to be like them. They feel mad, they want you mad. They feel miserable, they want you miserable. That's just the way it works. But all along, the Most High is using this to do what? Test you, like how he used everything that he took from Job to test Job. Put it together. You are Job. You are Job. We are Job. We are a nation of Job. You understand? We are Job. And the Most High has done so many things to us to catch our attention, but a lot of times we just missed it. We was in the slave fields talking about swing low, sweet chariot, not realizing the Most High put us here. You understand? We just never got that picture. So, read on.
Verse 7. Ye that fear the Most High, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall.
Don't act on your own. Just don't act on your own. Be patient. Wait for the Most High to guide you and to input his power into your life. Read.
Ye that fear the Most High, believe him, and your reward shall not fail.
Believe him and your reward shall not fail. Read.
Ye that fear the Most High, hope for good.
That's not easy. In your mind is a battlefield, brothers, sister. It's not easy to hope for good, especially with people that are not giving you good, not saying good about you or to you, or they don't want it for you. But the Most High say, you hope for good. So that's the battle right there, right? And it's not even a physical battle. It's all up in your mind. They're saying all kind of negative things about you purposely. They're finding the most hurtful things to say about you, because that's what their mind is telling them to do. Their mind is not telling them to hope for good for you. Their mind is telling them to destroy him, right? Say anything you can about him or her to just make them feel low. Sometimes they do it early in the morning. Why? They want to destroy your whole day. Because they're being sent by Satan. You understand? But then again, this is all a challenge to you. It's your trial. Read on. Verse 9, last preaching.
And for everlasting joy and mercy. Right. Verse 10. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Most High and was confounded?
Think about that. Think about it. In the scriptures, in life, did anybody really trust in the Most High was confounded? No. If you say, well, people die, what's supposed to die? That's their blessing. What's wrong with that? You understand? The Most High sometimes has to just take people out. That's their blessing. Trust me, that's what that means. But you will not be confounded if you believe in the Most High. Sometimes the Most High will show only you the blessing, and you get it, and the rest of the world might not. The rest of the world might be laughing at you because they didn't get it, but you got it. Okay? Read.
Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?
That's right. Think about that. And when you're thinking about that, what you need to do is reflect upon your own life and the troubles that you've been in and the deliverances that you've been given. Those two things. Okay, from the time you were young all the way coming up, you will remember many things that happened to you that should have took you out or just wasn't right, or you knew it was the Most High that delivered you. You understand what I'm saying? So the reason why we need to do that is because in doing this, we're giving credence and credit to the Most High. Okay, because sometimes when you get into a situation of desperation, you only think about that minute in time. You're not remembering what he did for you. So when you remember what he did for you, you're giving him credit, and also you're spiritually calling upon him to deliver you again. But if you only think about the bad, or you only think about the now, what you want now, then you're not doing what the Most High said to do. Read on.
For the Most High is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering, and very pitiful.
Just those words alone. How many times has he had mercy on you? How long has he been long-suffering with you? And how many times has he had pity on you? Think about it. Many times you probably look back in your life and say, damn, I should have been dead for that. I didn't deserve mercy for that. He should have never gave me compassion for that. But it says here, he is full of compassion. Whereas you and I might not be, or not on that level yet he is. That's why you reflect upon your life. And in reflecting upon your life, you see how many times he has delivered you, time and time and time again. Read.
And forgiveth sins, and saveth in the time of affliction.
Right. And that's what the Most High does. He forgives sins, and he will always rescue you. Okay? And saveth in time of affliction. That's what the Most High does. Some people will give credit to something else. Oh, them brakes worked good that time. I'd have been dead. It's not about your brakes. It's not about your brakes. Okay? That's the Most High. You understand what I'm saying? And another time you might have been sick. You know, they got this term, sick to death, or on your deathbed, you recovered. And you didn't realize that was the Most High that brought you back.
No.
You understand? Now he might have to bring you there again. Say, okay, let me see if you can get the message this time. You understand what I'm saying? That's how the Most High operates. And we have to, before we get there, before it gets so bad, acknowledge this is the Most High. This is what he's doing. Let's go to the book of 2 Samuel chapter 16, verse 5. We all know how the Most High operates. We've been there with him time and time again. And it's important that we now become more spiritual in our understanding and more spiritual in our reaction. 2 Samuel chapter 16,
Verse 5.
Verse 5, yeah.
The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 16, verse 5. And when King David came to Bahurim, behold, thence came out a man of the family of the house of Saul.
And you know the history of David and Saul. They always went back and forth. Saul wanted to kill David because he knew in his spirit that the Most High had chosen David and rejected him. Okay? But Saul was dealing with what? Dealing with demons that was telling him, kill David. Kill him. Right? He had no justifiable reason to do it, but nonetheless, he was overcome with demons, emotions. And in other words, if you don't use the word demons, you're going to use the word emotion, because that's what they do. They affect your emotions, right? They make you feel angry. They make you feel jealous and envious and all, right? That's demons, brothers. If you feel overly jealous, overly envious and all that, that's not you, right? That's a demon. You need to acknowledge that. Because in acknowledging that, then the demon is going to go. Then you're going to deal with it right mentally. Like, nah, this is not me. Think about your woman and say, oh, she's cheating on me and all that, right? You read about it in the scriptures. It talks about the remedy for the spirit of jealousy, right? In the law, it says that, right? Which means that that thing is real. That spirit is real. The spirit of jealousy is real. Envy is real. Hatred is real. The spirit of murder, all of those spirits are real, brothers. So the Most High is showing you that you need to acknowledge that. This is not me. You know how many men, even women, are in jail because they were overcome by a spirit? Waking up in the jail cell saying, I don't know what happened. I don't know why I did that. Even to stand in front of the judge. Judge like, why did you do it? I don't know. I don't know. That's not me. It's like I was just overcome by something. They can't name that something. I'll name it for you. It's a demon. Okay? And they have many names. Jealous, envy, all that. Hatred. You understand what I'm saying? Envious. You and I now being spiritual people, we don't want to stand there and say, I don't know what came over me. Acknowledge it. If you feel jealous, that's a spirit of jealousy. Envious. That's the spirit of envy. You understand what I'm saying? Hatred. That's the spirit of hatred that's going to move you to do so many bad things. You understand? Spiritual people need to acknowledge spiritual things. Understand that love is spiritual. But that's the state you're supposed to be in, right? Charity is spiritual. That's the state you're supposed to be in. Wanting to be kind and give and help and so forth, right? But now when you're in a spirit of jealousy and you want to just hurt somebody, you feel it in your veins. What is that? Is that good? Is that where you're supposed to be? So you need to acknowledge that, because when you acknowledge that, all of a sudden your fist is unclenched because I know what that is. That's that spirit of jealousy. Okay? But a man that's choking his wife because he thought she cheated on him, he's overcome. He's overcome. That spirit is gripping him. You understand? And when after everything is over, he's going like, oh man, I don't know what happened. Why did I do that? Because guess what? That's when that spirit is gone. You done did the dirt, right? Now you're left all alone. You're left all alone. They leave you then, right? And they just leave you because now, okay, you did what I wanted you to do. I'm out. Let me get somebody else. You see, but you're left there like a fool. You have to acknowledge what's going on within you, and you have to get rid of that. The minute you acknowledge it, it's like your eyes become open. And when your eyes become open, now you have more control of yourself again. Your heart's not beating so fast. You don't feel so hot. You don't feel so angry. You understand what I'm saying? But if you don't acknowledge that, man, that thing is going to get more and more powerful in you and control you. You understand what I'm saying? And then after a minute, hey, everything is done, right? I got you. You understand? So the same thing with people that are in your life that are coming at you in ways that you don't deserve. They same thing. Now, just because they don't know the word or in the truth doesn't mean that they're not affected by the same spirits. They are. The only difference is that now you are a spiritual person that should be able to acknowledge and eject that spirit out of you. The first step you got to take is to acknowledge it. If you don't do that, you ain't getting nowhere. You ain't telling that spirit to get out if you don't acknowledge what that spirit is. You understand? If you're a jealous person, and I keep using that term because that's a powerful spirit right there. That is a powerful spirit right there. Okay, if you are an envious person, that's a powerful spirit right there. But at the same time, if you're a hateful person, that's a powerful spirit right there. People will kill over all them spirits, those demons. You understand? Because the demons get into your mind. You understand? Then they get into your mind, they get into your blood. Your heart starts to beat faster. You're becoming something other than yourself. You're being taken over. You're being possessed. And this ain't a TV show. You're being possessed in real life and time. You understand me? And then after a while, even though it's your hands on that neck or with that gun or beating the person, it's that spirit that's controlling you. But who suffers? You do. That spirit ain't going to jail with you talking about, oh man, we in this together. No, we not in together. No, that's you, brother. I got somebody else out here to deal with, right? You understand what I'm saying? So before you are led or you get to that state, you need to acknowledge it and eject it from your members, from your mind. Meaning what? In the first place is your thought. Job was able to do that. Remember that in the midst of adversity, he was able to worship the Most High. You understand? That's not easy, brothers. It's not easy, but you need to do that. We need to do that, and in doing that, we please the Most High. Now, we understand about our brother David. The Most High loved him, but he done did dirt. He did a lot of dirt. You understand? And if you look at the time and the moment in which he was doing his dirt, it seemed so simple. It seemed like, damn, I couldn't up in that situation because you could. Remember him and Bathsheba. He saw her. What did he do? He lusted after her before he committed the adultery. He coveted her. Even when he was told that, that's somebody's wife, man. It's like, nah, I don't want that. You know what I mean? I don't want that. Where he at? He at that war? Bring it over here, man. You understand what I'm saying? But everything starts here. That's the whole point. Everything starts here. So the moment somebody told him that's somebody's wife, he should have felt ashamed and like, ah, man, I'm wrong. Forget about that. But the spirit was in him. The spirit of lust was in him strong. Strong. He's like, oh, man, I want her, man. You bring her up here now. Don't tell nobody. You bring her up here now. You see what I'm saying? Was she also like, hell yeah, she was like that. She wanted that thing. You understand what I'm saying? But the whole point of the matter is, it started up here. Started with these, the eyes, and then the mind, and then it's in the body. Let's read.
I'm going to start from the top again.
Okay.
And when King David came to Bahurim, behold, thence came out a man of the family of the house of Saul, whose name was Shimei, the son of Gerah. He came forth and cursed, still as he came.
So this brother's name from the house of Saul was Shimei.
Oh, Shema, my bad.
Which means what? What does Shemai mean? Hear and listen. Right? That's important. Read on.
And he cast stones at David and at all the servants of King David.
So he was casting stones at the king, man. Casting stones at the king, the most important man in Israel, right? Let's read on.
And all the people and all the mighty men were on his right hand and on his left.
Oh, and what could they have done? With one word, David said, if David had said, kill him, they'd have been dead like that. But what happened? Read.
And thus said Shimei, when he cursed, come out, thou bloody man.
Was David a bloody man? Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Listen to what he's saying. Come out, thou bloody man. Read.
And thou man of Belial.
Liar. Was he? Yes. Remember what he did with Bathsheba? Did he not have Bathsheba's husband killed? All right. That ain't no simple crime, right, brother? You understand what I'm saying? Read on.
The Most High hath returned upon thee all the blood of the house of Saul.
Wow. Listen to what he's saying, brothers. The Most High. He's using the word the Most High, the name the Most High. Read.
In whose stead thou hast reigned, and the Most High hath delivered the kingdom into the hand of Absalom, thy son.
So this brother was saying things that was making David think. You understand? But David was really being punished for his sins. His sins. Read on.
And behold, thou art taken in mischief, because thou art a bloody man.
I'm going to read that to you again. Behold, thou art taken in thy mischief. Thy mischief. Because thou art a bloody man. And guess what? Yes, David was a bloody man. He did a lot of things. You understand? He had that brother put to death. You understand? So he can get his wife. That's a serious crime. But above and beyond that, David did a lot of things where the Most High told him, look, this is what's going to happen to you, man. This is what's going to happen. And it started happening. How did David react to this? He's a king. Not only is he the king, he's walking with the mighty men. These mighty men, they can crush rocks. When you read about them in the scriptures, these mighty men, they'll kill 1,000 men like that. One will kill 1,000 men. So he's walking with his mighty men, his army. And this one brother, Shimei, is walking above them, saying things, and David is listening to him. How did he react? How is he supposed to react? What power? That's a better question. What power did he have to react? Could he not have called on the mighty men? And David himself was a mighty man. Let's get that straight. But could he not have called on his mighty men? Man, kill that dude, man. Or bring him in front of me and just chop him up. Could have did all that, right? But did he do that? He had the power to do it. He had the authority to do it because he was the king, right? How did he react? Read.
Verse 9. Then said Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, unto the king, why should this dead dog curse my lord the king?
The king, read.
Let me go over, I pray thee, and take off his head.
Take off his head. Take off his head, right? Wow. That's what the brother's saying, and he could have, right? If the king had given him permission, that head would have been flying, right? My brother, go ahead, brother.
real quick, go back to 9, because he's already counting him as a dead man. You gotta read that.
Right.
Read that. He said this dead dog, that means he's already dead in his mind.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill him. Read that again.
Why did this dead, read it, brother?
Then said Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, unto the king, why should this dead dog curse my lord the king?
You considering him dead already.
Yeah. And I love the way you read it, brother. You are feeling that thing, man. I feel that thing, brother. Because that's how you sounded. Why should this dead dog? I can't read like you, bro. Do it again. Yeah, bro. Read it again.
The water. All praise the Most High. The water.
Let me go over, I pray thee, and take off his head.
And all the king had to do was to give him permission. Because he had the authority. He was the king. And they were in that moment. They was on the run. Remember, they was on the run from Absalom. And here comes this dude giving them more grief. You understand what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, we're already homeless. And now you're here to give us more grief? But David had an understanding within him which made him the way he was. He was able to reflect, which is what we're supposed to do. He was able to think back and say, damn, do I deserve this? Because his man wasn't really going for that, right?
Right.
Man was like, yo, man, I kill this dude right now. Right? Because he wasn't reflecting, but David was able to reflect. And in that midst, in that moment, we're talking about that midst, in that moment in our lives when things are really happening and we're down, we're feeling angry, we're feeling jealous, we're feeling envious. It's asking us a question, how are we supposed to react? Read on.
Verse 10. And the king said, what have I to do with you, ye sons of Zeruiah?
Think about that. Think about that. Zeruiah was right there on his side. He was like, no, let me take care of this. But David, in reflecting, was saying, what do I have to do with you, you sons of Zeruiah? Right? Read on.
So let him curse, because the Most High have said unto him,
Wow.
curse David.
Wow. Read that again.
So let him curse, because the Most High have said unto him, curse David.
Imagine that. The king is saying this. The king. King David. The man that kills his 10,000. Saul killed his thousands. Alright? So he didn't need Zeruiah. He could have went up there and took care of business himself, right? You know, killed so many before. But in reflecting, David said, nah, the Most High sent this man to do this to me. Not only that, the Most High got me on the run from my own son right now. Right? And he got this man here now, Shemaiah, cursing me like I'm a dog, like I'm nothing, like I'm not the king. You understand? That's what happens in that moment of time. You have to be like David. Because it's going to be instantaneous. It's going to be right there. It's going to be in that moment. And you have to think to yourself, how do I react? You can't react like Zeruiah, right? Physical and emotional. That's what that is. Physical and emotional. You could do that, right? Or you could react like David. Read what David said again.
And the king said, what have I to do with you, ye sons of Zeruiah? So let him curse, because the Most High has said unto him, curse David. Who shall say then, wherefore hast thou done so?
Exactly. Think about that. That's control, right? Like Job. That's self-control. You need to be in that moment where you're in control of your vessel, in control of your body, control of your mind, and be like that. It's not easy. Think about it. The reason I keep emphasizing the fact that he's king and that he has the authority is because he does. He could have had that man killed. He could have Zeruiah killed him. He could have killed himself, right? But he knew what was going on. He knew that that was from the Most High. So sometimes you have to reflect when people are saying things about you, taking what they're saying. Is it true? Number one. And number two, if it's not true, why are they saying it? And number three, what is my reaction to that? Okay? And the most important thing, like David said, is this sent from the Most High? Is this sent from the Most High? That's an emotional thing right there, because the answer that you get, you might not like. The answer that you get might upset you. You understand? Or the answer that you get might please you. Say, well, you know what, the Most High is dealing with me right now. That's what David said. The Most High is dealing with me right now. Okay? If it's a loved one, it's somebody close to you, you might be upset. Like, okay, how could my mother, my father, my husband, my son, my child, my uncle that I loved all my life, right? my sister, how could they talk to me like that? Right? But you have to process everything. You know what I'm saying? And taking what they're saying. And then in the midst of you processing, what you're actually doing is calming yourself down. You're thinking about it. Is any of this true? Do I deserve this? Is it from the Most High? You understand me? That's how you calm yourself down. Process things. Don't just react. That knee-jerk reaction is the worst thing you could do. The worst. Go ahead, brother.
He was reacting in the spirit instead of the flesh.
There you go. There you go. And how are we supposed to react? In the spirit, right? That's not easy. Think back in your life. Have you always done that? And then when you have not done it, how did you feel after that? Did you feel guilty or did you feel good? Yeah, I got your ass. Right?
For a moment.
For a moment. Right? Listen, some of the worst cursing that you're going to get in life is from people that are close to you. That's why we're reading this right now. Because David was able to reflect. We have to be able to reflect, no matter who it's coming from. Enemy or loved one. Reflect on it. Think about it. Process it. Okay, because when you process things, you're better able to come back with a better answer. You understand what I'm saying? Some people, they just go back and forth with each other, cursing each other, and you're not getting nowhere. Where's that going? You know what I'm saying? But if you process things, you're better able to deal with it. Read on.
Verse 11. And David said to Abishai and to all his servants, Behold, my son which came forth of my bowels, seek my life. How much more now may this Benjamite do it? Let him alone, and let him curse, for the Most High hath bidden him.
Wow. That's processing right there. That's in the moment processing. He's thinking. Look, he's like saying, I'm not going to pay this attention because guess what? My son that came from my bowel, my own son is trying to kill me. And remember, there's been many times when Absalom upset David, and David could have did things to him. You understand? That's his son. He could have banished him. He could have did all kind of things. And David knew how Absalom was caught up in himself, caught up in his beauty and his hair and all that, and just wanted revenge at times. You understand? So David knew all these things about Absalom, but David was able to remove those thoughts and process what was going on in the moment. And in the moment as a leader, in the moment as king, he was able to tell the people what was going on. You understand? That's not easy, man. I'm not going to tell you that you're going to go home and somebody going to come at you and you're going to react the right way. That might not happen. But you need to reflect on this right here. And the next time they come at you, be ready. Meditate on this right here. Meditate on that, man. Write that down, circle that, whatever you got to do. Because that's what we have to do in life. Listen, man, I go through this. People coming at me, calling me all kind of names that make me mad as hell. You understand what I'm saying? Names that I know are not me, don't reflect me, don't have nothing to do with me. Don't describe me, has nothing to do with me. But nonetheless, somebody is taking the time to come at you with all kind of manner of nasty names. You understand? And terms. So what you have to do now is to reflect. And then after a while, remember who you are and who they are. And you might have to remove yourself from them to be who you are. Because after a while, you might just be them. You understand? And that's not good. The Most High didn't call them, he called you. He called you. So now, be like David. You understand? Don't be like, what's the brother's name? Zeruiah? Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Because he represents the emotional reaction, the knee-jerk reaction. You can't be like that because then you're not really doing what the Most High wants you to do. You're not growing. And it's going to take growth for you to be like David. Because remember, it took growth for David to be like David. You understand? There was a time when he wasn't like that. You understand what I'm saying? But that's where we are. That's where we have to go. You know your own situation where you are, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of that. You know where you are, and you know where you have to go. Put yourself in this predicament right here. You got the power, the authority, you can do anything you want, you can have that man killed. Think about it. In your past, what would you have done? Now, what would you have done? What would you like to see yourself doing in the future? Because don't take David out of there and put your name up in there. Put yourself up in there. It's you now. You the king, you the queen, you the princess. You got authority. Okay, you the one in that house. Okay, or in that situation, relationship, whatever it is. You have the authority to have something done. What would you have done in your past? What would you do later on? You got to process that. That's what David did, like that. And just like how David had, somebody next to him trying to influence his decision, you might have somebody next to you trying to influence your decision. Either a physical person or a couple of demons on the side. One over here, one over here. Like you remember the cartoons, right? Right? Got the good angel over here, got the bad one over here. They both talking to you. The one with the bad one got the forget, man. Just do something, right? Right? That's life, man. And the more we come to reality of that, this is real. The more we become more of the person that the Most High wants us to be. That soldier that the Most High wants us to be. All right. So when we read these things, we got to get the meat out of it. You understand? You got to put yourself in the predicament. Put yourself there and see how would you respond or react. Okay.
Read 12.
Yeah.
12 is the meat.
Verse 12.
I tell you what. Read from 11 straight to 12.
Okay. And David said to Abishai and to all his servants, Behold, my son which came forth of my bowels seeketh my life. How much more now may this Benjamite do it? Let him alone, and let him curse, for the Most High hath bidden him. It may be that the Most High will look on mine affliction, and that the Most High will requite me good for his cursing this day.
Exactly. It's based upon the way he reacted. You understand? He didn't give in. He didn't use his authority. He didn't use his power. He just let the people know what was going on and retain his integrity in that moment. Next verse, 13.
And as David and his men went away, Shammai went along on the hillside over against him, and cursed as he went, and threw stones at him, and cast dust.
And I wanted to read that because I want to show you that it doesn't just end like that. It doesn't. You read in verse 13 and that's the end. You might close the book, but in your real life, what happens? Somebody's still cursing you. They curse you today, they curse you tomorrow. A couple of days they good with you, right? How you doing? You all right? Man, I'm so happy to see you. Here's a sandwich, right? What happens tomorrow? There ain't no sandwich for you today. Today you back to being that nigga, right? And they're gonna curse you some more and some more and some more and some more. It doesn't just end like that. That's not the way life works. Go ahead, Ben.
Typical Benjamin tweet must say something.
Yeah, right? Every day. Right? Sometimes, be somebody on your block, down the block, all you hear is blood, blood, blood. Right. Benjamin is famous for that, right? Yeah. Benjamin is famous for that, man. In the scriptures and in real life. You understand what I'm saying? That's what they do. But, it's about you being tested. David was being tested. You understand? And he passed this test. He passed this test with beautiful grades. So this is where we have to come to in controlling our vessel. Okay, and the first thing you have to do is start in your mind. Process everything that you need to process, okay? So let's leave Samuel's and go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. We're going to read verse 63. Because the Most High loves us. Did he not say, I find David a man after my own heart? He loved David. He loves the nation of Israel. You understand what I'm saying? But as much as he loves us, he will take time to correct us. And he'll do all that he has to do to make us the people that he wants us to be. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 63.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 63. And it shall come to pass that as the Most High rejoiced over you to do good and to multiply you, so the Most High will rejoice over you to destroy you.
To destroy you. I mean, think about what we just read. I mean, this is the Most High that said, I love you. You're my people. But he's going to go just as hard to destroy us as he did to bless us. Think about that. That's the way he works. That's the way he operates. And that's talking about us as a nation. Okay? But also individuals. Think about that. Think about that for a second. That's the way he operates. That's the kind of power we're dealing with. You understand? When you come to understand the true power, the living power, not the cartoon God on Sundays, okay? When you come to understand the true power, then you understand what life is about. Then you understand what he will put you through. And that's why I read the last verse in Samuel, because I'm trying to show you that he will put you through it for a long period of time. How long were we in slavery?
Still in it.
Think about it. Think about that. Long time, right? But now don't just think about America. Babylon, 70 years. Then this nation, that nation, right? Sometimes we went back. Sometimes the Most High just sent the nations, the Syrians and the Assyrians, and they came to us and did all kind of things to us. They took princes, they took princesses, right? So we've been in captivity not just 400 years here. We've been in captivity for a long time. Isaiah chapter, hold that, give me Isaiah chapter 42. I think it's Isaiah 42, 23. We've been in captivity for a long time. Where's that? It says, is Israel a homeborn slave?
Jeremiah.
Read that, get that for me?
We're in Jeremiah.
First read Isaiah chapter 42 and 21.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 21.
Matter of fact, let me first start at 18 and read down.
Verse 18. Hear, ye deaf, and look, ye blind, that ye may see. Who is blind but my servant? Or deaf as my messenger that I sent? Who is blind is he that is perfect, and blind is the Most High servant. Seeing many things, but thou observest not. Opening the ears, but he heareth not. The Most High is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none deliver it. For a spoil, and none save it. Restore.
So for all the years we've been in slavery, we didn't consider that the Most High did that to us. And if we considered that, then we would have to ask why. And if we ask why, then we would come to the realization of who we are. You understand? Because it all goes hand in hand. But right now we're still in prisons. We're still in holes. We're still living in undesirable places, right? Why haven't we come to the realization of who we are and who the Most High is? Because he said we're blind, we're deaf. He hasn't given us that spirit to come to who we are. So he will call you and he will show you, but the majority he'll leave blind. Read on.
Verse 23. Who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear for the time to come? Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Most High? He against whom we have sinned.
Right.
For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law.
Didn't consider. It didn't come to mind of who we are. It's easy to prove who Israel is. Easy. Just by what we just read. You understand? Just by what we just read. But it didn't come to mind because we're blind and we're deaf. Read on.
Therefore, he hath poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle.
The Most High that created us and loves us. He said he would do that to the nations, didn't he? He did, right? But he also did it to us. Read.
And it hath set him on fire round about, yet he knew not.
Didn't know why it happened, why we were all packed up like sardines on a slave ship. Read.
And it burned him.
It was in us like, what's going on? Why us? When we saw our people being lynched and killed and maimed and raped, it came to us in feelings, but not in realization. Not in realization. It just didn't come to us. Read.
Yet he laid it not to heart.
He didn't lay it to heart. He didn't. Give me Jeremiah. Where's that at? Jeremiah? Jeremiah 2:14. Read that.
of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 14. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave?
Is he a homeborn slave? Was he made to be a slave? Being under slavery and captivity under every nation on this planet? Read.
Why is he spoiled? The young lions roared upon him and yelled, and they made his land waste. His cities are burned without inhabitant. Also, the children of Noth and Tahapanes.
Right, so the question is he a slave? Was he born to be a slave? Of course not. When you read the history of Israel and what the Most High intended for him to do, it was to rule the whole earth. You understand? But the Most High is punishing him. Not was, but is. You understand? Go back to Deuteronomy 28, verse 63. That's what the Most High does. That's the kind of Father we have, so that you understand when you're going through your afflictions, why it's so hard, why it's so terrible, why it's the worst thing in the world, because that's how the Most High operates. He'll love you. He'll love the hell out of you. But when he get ready to punish you, you're going to get it. You understand? That's how the Most High operates. In the end, yes, we're rewarded, we're redeemed, we're loved. You know what I'm saying? But in the midst of the moment now, the whole nation is going through hell. And don't think that it's slowed down or stopped. No, we're not in the fields no more, but we're dying like crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Not just through the police killing us, but through the drugs, through the food in our communities.
Abortion.
You understand? Abortion. Think about that. Now they're getting ready to give us a vaccine, right? What's that going to do? It's going to kill us. And many of us are going to run and take it, right? That's the way the Most High operates. He would think, or he would save us from that, and in time he will. But remember, we are being punished as a nation and as individuals. We've been brought back many times on this earth. Many times. For what purpose? To serve out your punishment. Now, in the midst of that punishment, yes, you get some pleasure, you get some good times, but majority of the time, you're catching hell. Got something to say?
Yeah, I actually had a precept for what you're just saying.
Go ahead, brother.
Numbers 14, verse 18.
Yeah.
The Most High is long-suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty.
That's right. Most
Visiting the iniquity of the children, of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation.
Most High is impartial. You understand? He's not going to just say, oh, the Israelites, I'll forgive them, save them, bring them back. Kingdom of heaven, go ahead. No, it doesn't work that way. Go ahead, brother.
Listen, I just want to say scripture 10, when you're saying about temptation. This is 2 Peter 2, verse 6 down to 9. But verse 9 says, the Lord of Mashiach Yahushua knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptation and reserve the unjust to the day of judgment to be punished.
Exactly. So guess what? The Most High will redeem you. He will rescue you many times, but he will punish you. He has been punishing us. Let's go to the book of Daniel chapter 9 verse 13, because understand that this doesn't mean that the Most High is bad or he's not just or he's not right. It means that he is the Most High. What that means. Okay, you can't get out of his hand. He's the ultimate authority. There is nothing you can do to get out of his hand. When he wants to bless you, yes, he will bless you. But when he wants to punish you, you're going to get that. Daniel chapter 9 verse 13.
The book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 13. As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us. Yet made we not our prayer before the Most High, our power, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth.
And that's what we're supposed to do. See, realize, acknowledge what's going on in your personal, private lives. Don't just go through this thing like, you're walking in the wind. Know what's going on. Because then you know why people are coming at you. You understand? Some people, they're like sponges. They just take everything people say and they just believe it and they just accept it. You understand? They become the thing that the person is saying, calling them. Don't do that, man. Somebody calls you stupid, don't accept that you're stupid. They're saying that to belittle you. You understand? They're saying that to bring you down. Some parents say that to their children all the time. You're just stupid. You're the stupidest one I had. Why would you do that? You Understand? Because you're miserable. That spirit is on you, and now that spirit is being transferred to your child. That's the worst thing you could do.
Right.
You understand?
All right.
Because, yes, you're supposed to honor your mother and your father, but they're not supposed to go through life upsetting you. You understand? Provoking you. Then that's breaking that rule right there. You don't provoke your children, because then what happens? They become the thing that you call them all the time. If you call them a waste, and you call them a good for nothing. That's think about that. I mean, you know why people do that? Because they heard other people say it. It was said to them. Now here they go saying it to you. But did you like it when it was said to you? You understand? Okay, so let's read verse 14.
Verse 14. Therefore hath the Most High watched upon the evil and brought it upon us. For the Most High, our power, is righteous.
He is righteous. Don't forget that. He is righteous, and you must meditate on that. Don't just think, oh, he's just going to punish me. No, he's going to bless you, but in all that he does, he is righteous. Read on.
In all his works which he doeth, for we obeyed not his voice.
Now, we could say back then we didn't obey his voice. That's how we ended up in slavery. But what are we doing now? Are we obeying his voice now? No. That's the question that you and I need to ask ourselves. Are we obeying his voice now? Are we doing what he said to do to the best of our abilities? You understand? Because don't be punished just to be punished. Don't die just to die. Find out what's going on in the midst of all that. You understand? The Most High sometimes is talking to you through somebody else. You understand? But at the same time, other times he's just giving you your judgment, your punishment. Understand? You have to know the difference. And in the midst of all that, like it says in verse 13, don't just take it laying down. Don't just take it laying down. Okay? Pray to the Most High. Overcome that. Sometimes you have to remove yourself. Sometimes you have to remove people from your life. That's just the way it works, brothers. That's just the way it works, and you need to really meditate on that, because sometimes what we tend to do is to take our punishment because we believe that either we deserve it or it's unrighteous for us to remove ourselves. But the scripture says what? Mark them. Mark them and remove yourself from them. You understand? Because somebody that's beating you down daily, that's not good for you. They don't want good for you. Sometimes when you leave them is when they finally realize, oh, okay, I was wrong. You understand? But that's what we have to do. We're not targets. We're not reprobates. We're not rejects. Nothing wrong with us. You understand? Nothing wrong with us. So don't let people tell you that there's something wrong with you, even if it's your loved one or someone that you are really close to. Could be your brother, your sister. You understand what I'm saying? Don't accept what they're saying. Remove them from your life. When they mature and they're good enough, then you can talk to them. Outside of that, don't let yourself be beat down every day.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? They take your spirit from you, man. You know, you're weak, emotionally weak, because of these people that you want them to be better, but in the process of time, they're making you worse. You gotta think about that. Don't suffer for nothing.
That's right.
Don't suffer for foolishness, man. You are worthy. You are gold being tried in the fire. And when gold is tried in the fire, it comes out glimmering, beautiful, shining. Look at yourself in the mirror. Are you gold? Are you shimmery? Are you bright? Or are you just dross and, you know, just dead and just, are you just overcome? Are you feeling like you're rejected? You understand what I'm saying? Look, when you look in the mirror, that's that spiritual mirror, how do you see yourself with all these attacks coming at you? Do you see yourself as being stronger, getting stronger? Or do you see yourself as being overcome? You understand? Sometimes in order to overcome, you might not have that strength to stand there and take it. So you remove yourself. Or sometimes you are able to drown it out. Whatever your strength level is, do that. Do that. Don't feel guilty. You understand what I'm saying? Don't feel guilty because you have to do certain things. Sometimes you might have to just make your words very short and sweet. Good morning, goodbye. Thank you. See you later. All that in between stuff is what gets you in trouble. You know, 'cause then they want to go at you and you invited it. Oh, how you doing today? You good? You want an apple? Can I do something for you? You know what I'm saying? Do that. But at the same time, if you see that's inviting trouble, limit that. And then after a while, cut that off, man. Because that's just how people are. They're users. They're using you. They're sucking your soul, man. You ain't know that? They're sucking your soul. Okay? And as long as you keep, just giving it to them, they're going to keep sucking. They're going to keep sucking. Then you all dried up and dribble, you know what I mean? Like that. But what good are you to the Most High in that case?
Right.
Do what you got to do, man. Let's leave here and go to the book of Psalm chapter 94, verse 1. Understand that the Most High is a judge, but the Most High wants the best for you. You understand that? The scripture says, why should you suffer? Why should you die? Don't let people kill you. It's the hardest thing for people to leave their mother, leave their father, sister, husband, and wife. Because of what? You learn that they're just not good for you. They don't want good for you. They might change, but don't suffer and die in the midst of it for nothing. Psalms 94:1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 94, verse 1. O Adawan Yahweh, to whom vengeance belongeth. O Yahweh, to whom vengeance belongeth. Show thyself.
Show thyself, Lord. Be my battle axe. Be my verbal, mental, spiritual battle axe. Show thyself. Read this when you're in these predicaments. You understand? You heard what he said? O Yahweh, to whom belongeth vengeance. O Yahweh, to whom vengeance belongeth. Show thyself. In other words, you're calling on the Most High in your battle, and that is a battle. If you don't count it as a battle, you're not doing the right thing. These are battles we're going through. They're spiritual battles. Read verse 2.
Lift up thyself, thy judge of the earth. Render a reward to the proud.
All right, render a reward. So in other words, you're calling on the Most High to do what? To fight for you. To fight for you. You understand? That's what you want. Sometimes you shouldn't say anything. Call on the Most High to fight for you. Especially if you know you cannot control that tongue. Okay? You call on the Most High to fight for you. Verse 3.
Most High, how long shall the wicked triumph?
And the wicked, when you think about the wicked, don't just think about Esau. That wicked might be up in your house, at your job, on your block. Seriously. You got to really read this thing, man, and think about it, because then you can actually realize what's going on. Read.
Verse 4. How long shall they utter and speak hard things? And all the workers of iniquity boast themselves.
Like they ain't doing nothing wrong. They done called you all kind of dogs and all kind of names, and they say, no, we ain't do nothing. I'm good. You is a dog. Right? You look at you. You is a dog. They feel proud when they say it. That's how they say, yeah, you's a dog. All right. That's what they called us as a nation. Esau and the Edomites, they called us dogs. They called us all kind of names. And why did they do it? Because they thought that we deserved it. They thought, oh, the Most High gave us them in our hands. So therefore, we can do anything we want with them. Right? They're proud. All right? So now, in your own life, your individual life, your relationships, people are going to be the same way. You understand? But it says that the Most High is the one that gives revenge and he has vengeance. It doesn't have to be you. Because what happens with that spirit and feeling of you wanting to get vengeance, you become like them. You understand? The Most High can control that. Maybe you can't. You understand? So give it to him. Read.
Verse 5. They break in pieces thy people, O Most High, and afflict thine heritage.
They did that to us, man. They broke us down. They purposely, physically, psychologically broke us down. They would take a man from his wife and have him stand there as they're raping his wife. They broke us down. What happened to the man and what happened to the woman after that? Destroyed. Where's that unity? She felt like he couldn't save her. She felt like he couldn't redeem her, couldn't save her, couldn't protect her. He felt like what? Like a punk. You understand what I'm saying? They were holding him, he couldn't do anything, but what kind of people or creature would do that? Think about that. What kind of people would do that to another people? Yeah, exactly. But remember, all along, the Most High was taking vengeance on us. Us, by way of people. That's how angry he was. Okay? And remember, he said, as much pleasure as I had in blessing you, I will destroy you. So you got to think about that. And when you think about that, now you're doing like David did. Now you're analyzing and you're thinking about what's going on. So a lot of us walk around with a lot of anger and hatred, and we don't know what to do with it. Analyze that, man. You understand? Now, yeah, you're going to be mad at people, but can you be mad at the Most High? That's the question I have to ask for you. Can you be mad at the Most High? No. So then you become a spiritual person. You understand? And a person of wisdom and understanding, where you are now able to control yourself. And that's the most important thing you can do. Read on.
Verse 6. They slay the widow and the stranger and murder the fatherless. Yet they say, the Most High shall not see.
Right.
Neither shall the power of Jacob regard it. Understand, ye brutish among the people, and ye fools, when will ye be wise? He that planted the air, shall he not hear? He that formed the eye, shall he not see?
Right. And when will we see? Understand? These scriptures, they make you emotional when you really think about it, because you now can call upon that time and that feeling, that spirit that our people felt when they were going through these things. You now going through your own situation. You're caught up in your own situation purposely. You understand? The Most High has placed you where you are because you're supposed to be there going through that ordeal. Don't think you're supposed to be somewhere else at that moment in time. Okay? And that doesn't mean that you stay there forever. But the Most High has placed you there, placed me there, plus us there, to go through what we're supposed to go through. This is a part of our predicament, our judgment. This is a part of our training. But in the midst of all that, like I said, don't take it and just lay it down. You have to bring yourself up. You might have to take it for a minute, then you get up out of there. You understand? That's the way it works. When we were in captivity, we had no choice. Now you got a choice. Now you have the choice. Do what you have to do. Do the right thing. Okay? Let's leave here and go to the book of Judges chapter 2, verse 3, because don't suffer unnecessarily. That's the whole point. Don't suffer unnecessarily. Okay? Don't make yourself a target or allow yourself to be a target. That's not what the Most High intended for you. Go to the book of Judges chapter 2, verse 3.
The book of Judges, chapter 2, verse 3. Wherefore I also said, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your sides, and their gods shall be a snare unto you.
Right, so when the Most High gave us a commandment when we went into the land, he said, look, you get these people up out of here. We'll remove them and burn down their groves, burn down their homes, burn down anything that they worshipped. Right? The Most High gave us a commandment at that time to kill them. You understand? And he gave us the power. He went before us in doing that. But we now, with a simple heart and simple mind, say, nah, just save some of them. You know, they're not that bad. You understand? But in doing that, we cause catastrophe to come upon us and the later generations. If we had listened and did the right thing, we'd have been all right. But we didn't do that. And in our lives today, we still don't do that. We got to correlate the two, the past and the present. You understand? You didn't do it in the past, why are you not doing it today? Okay? Read on.
Verse 4. And it came to pass, when the angel of the Most High spake these words unto all the children of Israel, that the people lifted up their voice and wept. And they called the name of that place Boshim. And they sacrificed thereunto the Most High. And when Joshua had let the people go, the children of Israel went every man unto his inheritance to possess the land. And the people served the Most High all the days of Joshua, and all the days of the elders that outlived Joshua, who had seen all the great works of the Most High that he did for Israel. And Joshua, the son of Nun, the servant of the Most High, died, being 110 years old. And they buried him in the border of his inheritance in Timnath-Heres, in the mount of Ephraim, on the north side of the hill of Gaash. And also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers. And there arose another generation after them, which knew not the Most High, nor yet the works which he had done for Israel.
And what did they do? Read on, brother.
Verse 11, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Most High, and served Baalim.
Circles, brother. As a nation, we're going into circles. As a people, keep doing the same thing over and over again. Ask yourself, what are you doing in your life right now? Are you doing the same thing that your fathers did in the past? Are you doing the same thing? You understand? Are you doing the right thing in redeeming your soul and blessing yourself and removing yourself from all the unclean things that's around you? That unclean thing might be a person. You understand that? You got to really think about that and do what you're supposed to do. Because just by this alone, you see, we've constantly gone in circles. Constantly going in circles and haven't done the right thing. And as a result, we suffer unnecessarily. If we had removed these people and their altars and their groves from us, we'd have been all right. But what happened? When the next generation came up, they forgot about all that the first generation went through. And they did the same thing all over again. They went after these nations and their altars and their gods. They forgot the Most High. And as a result, what happened? Same thing. Okay, so where's the improvement? Where's the growth? Back then, but today. You understand what I'm saying? You got to think about that. You really have to think about that. Where are you going? What are you doing? How are you bettering yourself? Or are you still just going in circles? With the people that are around you, with the things that you do, with the mistakes that you make. You understand? Most High put you there to teach you. He didn't put you there to just wallow in like a pig in the mud. You understand what I'm saying? Think about that. You know, if you're strong, beautiful, do what you got to do. But if you're not that strong, remove yourself. But even if you are strong, don't allow yourself to be beat back down. That's what you got to understand. Don't allow yourself to be beat back down. Go to Acts chapter 9, verse 4. I want to show you something. Because some things will come on us in period of time. Or it might just come like that. But either way you put it, the Most High wants you to grow. Acts chapter 9, verse 4. And we're almost over with this class, but I want us to really meditate and see, evaluate our actions and our words and see what we're doing. Start at 1. I'm just going to read through.
Okay. The book of Acts, chapter 9, verse 1. And Saul, yet breathing out threatenings and slaughter against the disciples of the Most High, went unto the high priest, and desired of him letters to Damascus, to the synagogues, that if he found any of this way, whether they were men or women, he might bring them bound unto Jerusalem.
Now Paul was a man of the law. He was taught at the foot of Gamaliel. He was a Pharisee. He understood the law. He understood the word. He, in what he's doing now, thought he was doing the right thing. Sometimes you will think you're doing the right thing. He was very convicted with what he was doing. He was convinced, this is what I'm supposed to do, right? Anybody that believes in Yahushua, I'm going to bring him back to Jerusalem, we're going to beat them. He was going against the Most High. Sometimes you're doing that in life. You're doing things that you think is what the Most High wants you to do, but you're actually doing the wrong thing. And you might be convinced, like Paul was convinced, because he was after the law. Paul believed in the law. Remember that. He grew up in the law. So sometimes you're in the word thinking you're doing the right thing, but you're really not. That was the state of Paul, or Saul at the time. You understand? Read.
Verse 3. And as he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven. And he fell to the earth, and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me?
No. Most High talking to him, right? Yahushua talking to him. Because he's showing him, you're doing the wrong thing. Can you persecute the Most High? Yahushua? Yes, you can. By going against him, right? Read.
And he said, Who art thou, Most High? And the Most High said, I am Yahushua, whom thou persecutest. it is hard for thee to kick against the pricks.
I am Yahushua whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. You understand? Meaning that you think you're doing the right thing, but you're doing the wrong thing. You're going against the prophecies and the will of the Most High. That's what Paul was doing right here. Ask yourself if you're doing that. I ask myself all the time. Think about it. You have to examine yourself, like the scripture said, to see whether or not you're in the truth or you're in the faith. Because sometimes you think you are. You might be led astray. You might be influenced. You might be just emotional. You understand? You have to really question yourself. Am I doing the right thing? That's why I say to you, be careful when you're allowing yourself to be persecuted and you're allowing yourself to be beat down. Okay, you might think, oh, this is somebody that I have to take this from, you know. I owe. You understand? Or they need me. You understand what I'm saying? Read on.
Verse 6. And he, trembling and astonished, said, Most High, what wilt thou have me do? And the Most High said unto him, Arise, and go into the city, and it shall be told thee what thou must do. And the men which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice, but seeing no man.
Because it was personal. It wasn't meant for the men. This was really for Saul. And this was how the Most High was redeeming him. This is how the Most High was going to bring him up. You understand? Read on.
And Saul arose from the earth, and when his eyes were opened, he saw no man. But they led him by the hand, and brought him into Damascus.
So he was blind. The Most High put him in a low estate like he did to Job. When you're blind, when you've had vision all your life and you're now blind, you're in a low estate. You're like a baby again. Okay, you can't do what you used to do. You need help, like when you were a child. Okay, so the Most High will put you there to do what? To correct you. Because you might think you're doing the right thing, but in reality you're not. Read.
Verse 9. And he was 3 days without sight.
3 days. That number 3 comes up a lot, right? Because it's for correction. It's for you to get understanding. Okay? How long was Yahushua in the earth? 3 days. Oh, how many nights? 3 nights. The Most High uses that a lot. It's for you to be complete. You understand? So, Paul, imagine 3 days without sight. What happens to you? First day. Think about it. You're very emotional. You hyperventilate, right? You know, you can't see anything. Hey, one time I got an infection in my eye, my left eye. Couldn't see nothing. I couldn't sleep for days. I had vision in the right eye that day, man. I'm like, oh man. I couldn't see. In my mind, I was blind. Okay, I was up all night. And the minute I fell asleep, I would jump up. I didn't sleep for days. I didn't sleep for like 3-4 days. But what that does is it puts you in an emotional state. So Paul was in that state. So you're not reading all that Paul was feeling, but you have to imagine all that Paul was feeling. Because he thought he was doing the right thing. Now he's being struck down and made blind and shown that, okay, I wasn't right. So that made Paul who he really was. You understand? Because before, as Saul, many things he did that wasn't right. I'm saying, remember, Stephen died at his foot. He could have stopped that. You understand what I'm saying? But the Most High will put you through an experience and a journey to correct you. And it's going to be very emotional, very personal. Read on.
And neither did eat nor drink. And there was a certain disciple.
Read verse 9 again.
And he was 3 days without sight, and neither did eat nor drink.
Because he was so emotional. You understand what I'm saying? That's the state that he was in. Read on.
And there was a certain disciple at Damascus named Ananias. And to him said the Most High in a vision, Ananias. And he said, Behold, I am here, Most High. And the Most High said unto him, Arise, and go into the street which is called Straight, and inquire in the house of Judas for one called Saul of Tarsus. For behold, he prayeth.
He does what?
He prayed.
What did Job do?
He prayed.
What did Job do?
He worshiped.
And prayed, my brother. You said it right the first time. Yes, that's what Job did. Remember, we read that. In the midst of his calamity, losing his children and everything else, he worshiped and he prayed. You understand? And he said what? Naked came I into this earth, and naked shall I go out. You understand? Oh, return, sorry. So you understand that this is what the Most High wants you to do. Worship, pray. That's what he wants you to do. And he's going to put you in predicaments where it's serious. He's going to put you in situations where you feel it. Paul didn't eat. He couldn't eat. Very emotional. That's what that's telling you. When you're emotional like that, you can't eat. Nothing goes down, brother. You don't have a taste for food or nothing. You ain't got nothing. All you can think about is your current state. And all he can think about is the fact that he couldn't see nothing. You understand? And here is Yahushua talking to him, telling him, you're doing the wrong thing, man. He thought he was doing the right thing. You might think you're doing the right thing, but the Most High will tell you, no, you're not doing the right thing. Okay? Read on.
And had seen in a vision a man named Ananias coming in and putting his hand on him, that he might receive his sight.
So the Most High, through Yahushua, took that sight. And what did he do? He sent somebody to give him back his sight. Okay? That's how he operates. That's how serious the Most High is. You understand? And again, it doesn't make him bad. It makes him the Most High. Okay? Can you get out of his hand? Can you escape his punishment? No, you can't. So that's where we are. You understand? But again, you must acknowledge that. When anything happens to you, you have to put the Most High in the midst of it. And say, okay, what does this mean? What am I supposed to get from this? What am I supposed to learn? How am I supposed to grow from this? Because if you don't equate the situation with the Most High, you're still lost. Paul was blind, I should say, for 3 days. 3 days. The Most High wanted to get his attention to say, look, I did this to you. But while he was blind, the Most High already had somebody to give him back his vision. So while you're in your situation, your state of your calamity, your lowest state like Job, or your lowest state like King David, he will give you the blessing that you need. You understand? Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 10, I think it's 10:13. And always remember this. When you're going through things, the Most High has not left you alone. Has not left you alone. He had Ananias in the waiting. Go ahead, my brother.
I was outside. He was also showing Paul that he was, I think it was spiritually blind.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know,
he was.
Along with the physical blind. So he was spiritually blind because he asked him, why do you kick up against the bricks?
Exactly.
Paul was spiritually blind.
Right.
So he was twofold story.
Exactly. And the thing that we really got to get, he was spiritual blind with the word. He grew up in the law. He grew up in the law. Understand? He was a Pharisee. So he thought he was doing the right thing in the word. You understand? So he was spiritually blind with the word. Then the Most High had to take away his vision to show him where he was. You're blind, man. You're doing the wrong thing. Okay? But as with anything that the Most High does, he will have a redemption for you. He will bring you back. He will bless you. Okay? He gave Saul back his sight, right? So he will give you back whatever he took from you. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 13.
Start at 12, my brother. Thank you.
Verse 12. Wherefore, let him that thinketh he standeth take heed, lest he fall.
Move pride from you first of all. First thing got to go. That pride got to go. Because that pride is the thing that blinds so many of us. And the Most High hates that. He hates pride. With the pride, it could even be pride in the word. I know all these scriptures. I know this breakdown. I know all of this. Man. You understand what I'm saying? I got this. You're blind. Because the Most High gave it to you. And can take it from you anytime he wants. You understand? That's why I try my best to be humble. You understand? Because I know that that's what the Most High wants. That's how he operates. You have to do that. Because when you're humble, he's dealing with you. When you're proud, he ain't got nothing to do with you.
That's right.
It's just all you. eating up yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So read verse 12 again.
Wherefore, let him that thinketh he standeth take heed, lest he fall.
Read.
There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But Yahweh is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it.
A whole lot of meat up in there, right? A whole lot of meat. Now, if you drank your milk, you can eat the meat. You understand what I'm saying to you? So it says, there hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. And that's what your mind has to be on when you're going through things. The Most High has put others through this before. It's not just you. And don't let Satan say to you, it's just you. Something wrong with you. Or don't let him use that person in your life to say that to you. Something wrong with you. You ain't right. You ain't been right since you was born. You the worst of all my kids. Okay? You the worst wife. You the worst husband. Okay? You the worst in the family. You the black sheep, man. Get up out of here. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's what happens. Don't allow that to happen to you. But it also says, but the Most High is faithful. That's what you got to realize. You might not be faithful. Your faith might not be as faithful as it should be, or on the level where it should be. But the Most High is. And it says what? Who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able. That's what you got to understand. In your midst of your weakness, you got strength. Because he already gave you the power, the strength, and everything else that you need to rise above your situation. If you evaluate the situation, you'll see that. But if you want to just lay there in the mud, you ain't going to get that. He's in your weakness. He has given you strength. You got it. You got it. You just got to realize it. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Then it goes on to say, but will, with the temptation, the same temptation, also make a way to escape. The Most High, like with Paul and Ananias. Ananias was in the waiting. The Most High had that all planned. Paul couldn't see that. My brother, my sister. He couldn't see that. He was blind. The Most High had all that planned out. You understand what I'm saying? You might not be able to see it, but you know that the Most High is faithful, right? You just said that. All right, so then you're good. You got to be able to see that, man. Even in your state of blindness of not knowing what's going to happen next. Even in your state of blindness of not knowing what exactly is going on. You know that the Most High is faithful. And when you know that the Most High is faithful, you know that He's made a way for you to escape. There's always a way for you to escape made by the Most High. Not by you necessarily. You might not know it. There's a way out. But you might be standing there with your back against the door not knowing that that's the way out. You understand what I'm saying to you? Let the Most High turn you, man. And the way you do that is by being patient. Okay? Then the last precept says, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. He's given you the power, the strength to bear whatever you're going through. You understand? The Most High did that. If you only think of yourself, say, I'm not strong enough for this. I can't face this. You're thinking about you. Right. Think about the Most High. Think about the Most High. You understand? When you think about the Most High, you acknowledge strength. You acknowledge power. As weak as you are, He ain't weak. You understand what I'm saying to you? And when you understand that, then you draw your strength from Him. Then you're good. Outside of that, you're just defeated, dumb and docile and no good to your own self. Your strength is not just what's within you, it's what comes from the Most High. Okay? And with that, I want to go to the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7. There's something that we have to understand as Israelites, as people on a journey, as those that are walking that narrow road by ourselves. Okay? There's something that you need to know and understand. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, let's start at
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 6. For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth. But now I forbear, lest any man should should think of me above that which he seeth me to be.
Very important. Being humble. Being humble. I just want to read that again.
For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool.
Only a fool will glory, because why? The Most High gives us everything. He gave Job everything. Understand that? He gave Job everything. He gave you everything. Everything, brother, sisters. Everything. He gives and he takes, right? So when he takes, remember who took it, and also who gave it and will give it again. Okay, it's important to remember that. Read.
For I will say the truth, but now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he seeth me to be, or that he heareth of me, and lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelation.
You know who thought this? King David. In that missing that moment on the run from his son Absalom, he's like, man, what am I? I'm a king, but look where the Most High has me, on the run for my own. You understand? The Most High brought him to that place. Read on.
There was given to me a thorn in the flesh.
There was given to me a thorn in the flesh. This is Paul talking. And he's saying it to the Corinthians because he's trying to show them, look, as great as you think I am, as much as the Most High has blessed me, as much as I have done, even me, Paul, the Most High has given me a thorn in the flesh. Understand? And all of you will have that thorn in the flesh. I got it. You got it. If you don't think you got it, just look real good. You got it. You got it. Okay? Read on.
The messenger of Satan to buffet me.
The messenger of Satan to buffet me. In other words, don't lift up your shirt and look for a cut, my brothers or sisters. Look for something that you repeatedly go through. That's your thorn in the flesh. Something that's hard to get over. Something that's always in your life. You understand what I'm saying? Something that's just there, nagging at you, gnawing at you, coming back. Okay? That's your thorn in the flesh. And you need to know that as spiritual people so that you could understand there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that this is the way the Most High operates. You understand? You're not sick, rejected, or nothing like that. This is how the Most High operates. He gave it to Paul. And Paul is regarded as one of the greatest prophets, right? Think about it, but he gave it to him. Think what he did to David. When Shema was running above them, that was that thorn. But David was able to react the right way. You now have to react the right way. And don't just go berserk and just say, I'm going to kill that. Because it doesn't really work like that. You don't get rid of it like that, okay? You don't say, I'm going to throw this rock at it. Nah, he's throwing a rock and it's still there. It's still there. You understand what I'm saying to you? That thorn, that spiritual thorn in your flesh. Don't lift up your shirt and look for a cut or something bleeding. It's something in your life, and it's personal. I always use that word. It's personal to you. I'm not going to know what you're going through. I know what I'm going through. It's personal. It's that thorn in the flesh. And as spiritual people, you must understand that that's how the Most High operates. Okay? Read on.
Lest I should be exalted above measure.
What? Read that again?
Lest I should be exalted above measure.
What does less mean in the old Anglican English? Before or unless. Before I should be exalted above measure. So in other words, so I don't think of too much of myself. You understand? I don't become too proud and love myself. The Most I say, I'm going to give you something just to remind you who you are and who I am. You understand what I'm saying? To keep you afloat so you don't become too proud and, egocentric and all that. You don't say, well, I can break this book down in a minute. I got everything. Because you might got it. But I'm going to keep you in a certain place where you don't become too proud and of no worth. So Paul, the great Paul, Yahushua spoke to him. You understand? In the Hebrew from heaven, he spoke to him. So that great Paul that we all talk about, Most High gave him that thorn in the flesh. Even him. You don't think he's going to give it to you? Think again. He has given it to you. Sometimes you might not realize it. But it's important that you acknowledge it. Doesn't mean that he hates you or you're not deserving of blessings. It's just the way he operates. Why? What did he say to Paul? Least I should be exalted above measure. Paul said that. Paul understood. Before I become too full of myself. So you understand. So you understand. Okay? Some of these preachers out here, they're full of themselves.
Right.
They're full of themselves, not realizing that the Most High gave them the word. I realize the Most High gave me the word. And I also realize that he's given me that thorn in the flesh. That spiritual thorn in the flesh. Might be something physical. Might be somebody going at you, right? Can't get away from it. It might be something that you cannot overcome. Don't think that you're a failure, is my point. Don't do that. Don't do that, because Paul realized it and he said, least I should be exalted above measure, because he thought it was good for him so he wouldn't become too proud. Read verse 8.
For this thing I besought the Most High thrice.
He prayed to the Most High about it 3 times. And you know the beautiful thing about the thorn in the flesh that Paul is talking about? He don't tell you what it is. Doesn't really tell you what it is. You understand that? Now you're going to read a lot of people say, oh, it's this, he was blind for life, and all kind of things, right? It doesn't really tell you what it is. But he does tell you that for this thing I besought the Lord thrice, 3 times. He prayed to the Most High about it. He went before the Most High about it, but it stayed in his life. There's going to be something that's going to stay in your life that you cannot get rid of or overcome. You understand? Doesn't mean, like I said, that he hates you or you're not good or you're not worthy. No. It's just how he keeps you from becoming too proud. Okay? Read the end of 8.
That it might depart from me.
For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. Read on.
And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness.
Beautiful. Read on.
Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of H.O.D.C may rest upon me.
So the Most High said to Paul when he prayed to him 3 times about that thorn in his flesh, my grace is sufficient for thee. Guess what? Paul knew that he deserved death. You understand me? Because of what he did to the people of the Most High that believed in H.O.D.C. He knew he did wrong. Stephen, for the death of Stephen, he knew he deserved death. Remember that. Remember that. Don't ever forget that. Because that's what made him come to realization, okay, you know what? Yeah, I am deserving. But the Most High is giving me grace. He hasn't killed me for what I've done. And that's what we all have to come to, that realization. Because we all deserve punishment and even death for the things that we have done. You understand? For a period of my life, I denied the Most High altogether. I'm talking about I'm a 5%, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in God, I'm God. You understand what I'm saying? I should be put to death for that madness. But nonetheless, Most High still has me here with the thorn in my side. You understand what I'm saying to you? So I'm going to share that with you about me. And you come in your mind now and realize what you have done and what you deserve. And realize why you got that thorn in your flesh. Okay, my brothers, my sisters? Most High is amazing, beautiful, great, wonderful. We should always praise the Most High. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yes.